So definitely in our top 3 favorite births would have to be this goat right here, Gracie. She's our oldest that we have. She's probably around 10, but she was our first Nubian that we purchased. And you know, she's always been a good producer, a good mama, just a good goat all around. But for the last 2 seasons, she had some birthing complications. And one year she had a stillbirth. She had twins both times, but the first year was a stillbirth, and then the second one that came out didn't survive too much longer after birth. And then last year she had twin stillbirths. And so we weren't really sure what was going on with her, so we drew some blood and did a lot of testing on her. And everything came back normal except for she did have, I believe it was a selenium deficiency. And there was one other mineral, I can't remember what it was, but anyway, but that was it. I mean, everything else came back negative. So we corrected her supplements for that and kind of hoped for the best. And so this past season, she gave birth to some beautiful twins. She was a great mama. The twins are doing great. It was a twin doeling and buckling. We retained the doeling for future breeding, and the doeling is big and healthy, and she's doing great. And then we sold the buckling because he would have been related to 2 other does that we had. So, but anyway, but this was definitely one of the births in my top 3, just because of the fact that, you know, we've had her for about 7 years now, and she's always been a good goat. And so we were just happy to see her get to be a mama again. Yeah, so this doe right here on my left was Gracie's daughter from 2019. And I don't know if I can get them to look the same way. As you can see, they look pretty much identical. The only way I can tell them apart is because when we disbudded this one, she's got like a little nub right here. But again, and her daughter's been a good one too. You know, and so since we had really good success with Gracie delivering last year, or actually earlier this year, then we decided to go ahead and let her be bred again, and we'll just kind of see, you know, how she does. We're not 100% sure on her age, but like I said, she's probably somewhere around 10. So this might be her last year to be bred, but again, we'll watch her and see how she handles it, and you know, and then after that, she'll just be a retired pasture goat. And with all our goats, we've had really good success and luck with their breeding, and we've had to, you know, intervene only maybe once or twice. And this year, again, given her history and her complications, we were always kind of concerned about that. But surprisingly, she delivered these twins completely unassisted. But we got to be there to watch it, and you know, just be there in case she did need any help. But fortunately for us and her and the babies, they were all good. So it was a pretty smooth delivery. Yeah, and it's also kind of cool too with Gracie, because now we have 4 generations of her bloodlines in our herd. So we have Gracie, then we have 2 of her daughters, then we have a granddaughter, and now we have 2 great-granddaughters from Gracie. So it's just kind of neat to have that lineage carry on. So my second favorite birth that we've had on our farm had to be Georgia. She's one of our Catata and Dorper cross sheep. And she was actually born here on our farm, I guess about 6 years ago. But when we moved here, this whole place was overgrown and the fencing wasn't set up. And so we ended up selling all of our sheep and to focus on getting the fencing reestablished. But then after we got to that point, I really wanted some of the sheep back. And Georgia, and then she has a sister out here that their dad, so the ram that we had, he was by far like one of the coolest animals we had. Super friendly, very personable, just a good ram to have around. You know, because part of what we do, I mean, they're meat sheep, but also it's important for us because of the agritourism side of our business, as far as like having kids out here, we need to have animals that are friendly, and so I can't afford to have some crazy ram or buck out here running around hitting people. And so their dad was definitely not that. You know, so that was the main reason I wanted them back. But this past season though is when she had some complications. Her prolapse is not sticking out as much, but it's looking kind of worse to me. I'm gonna clean it with some iodine solution, try to tuck it back in there a little bit better, and then I'm actually gonna try to make a harness that'll hopefully hold her prolapse in until she gives birth. She actually had a vaginal prolapse, and so we had to spend some extra time with her, and but she gave birth to a beautiful set of twins, and she's always been a great mother. All her babies always, you know, grow well, and you know, and sheep are not the most personable animals. Yeah, for us though, it was just such a cool experience being there to kind of take care of her, and you know, and hopefully show our kids and other people, you know, what good animal husbandry is, and just taking care of them and providing for their needs. And so that's what we did for Georgia, and like I said, it paid off, and she was able to raise 2 beautiful lambs this year for us. So again, out of all the births that we've had, and that was also one that like we were very like involved in, so it was just neat to see that happen and have good results at the end of it. So it was a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of barn checks going down at night, and of course she has her babies on like the coldest days of the year for us. So I think the last 2 or 3 seasons that she's birthed, it's been like, you know, below freezing, which, you know, for us here in central Alabama, that's pretty cold, you know. But again, she did great and was an excellent mother again. So yeah, so definitely being there for her birth this spring, you know, definitely falls into my top 3 on some of my favorite birthing stories here on our farm. So out of all the births that we've had here on our farm, by far my favorite has to be from our Jersey cow that we had a few years back. And it's funny too, because like as many goats and sheep that we have and all the births that they've had over the years, I had always missed them. So actually when our Jersey cow gave birth, that was actually the first animal birth that we actually got to see. And it was such a cool experience too, because we had like an Airbnb guest here as a father and a son, and you know, me not having any experience with it, you know, I could see like she was getting close, and so I hollered at him and said, hey, I think she's getting ready to give birth if y'all want to come watch. And so him and his son joined me and one of my sons, and we just sat there on the hillside and watched her give birth. And you know, it probably took 30 or 40 minutes or so, but anyway, again, and it is one that, you know, there's no complications, and it's just such a cool thing to watch, especially for the first time. Just watching, you know, those maternal instincts kick in, and she got up and she started taking care of the calf, and you know, and she raised him, and everything was great, you know. And since then we've sold our Jerseys, because right now we're just focusing more on our goats, but we still raise 1 cow a year for meat. But yeah, I guess that would have to be my favorite one, mainly because it was just the first live birth on our farm that we actually got to be there for and see in person. So yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's all the births that and I've got to see several goat and sheep births now over the years, you know, but every time for me it's always such a fun and cool experience. You know, it's not something that's gotten old yet, of seeing them deliver and just seeing the whole process, and you know, and how they just know what they're supposed, for the most part, they know what they're supposed to do. And every once in a while we'll have a mama that either has some complications or rejects their baby, but that's only happened like 2 or 3 times in the 10 years. You know, so, but by the most part, all the mamas that we have, they know what to do, and they take care of their babies, and pretty good. Well, thanks for watching the video, and if you want to see more of our other birth videos, be sure to check out this video here. and we'll hope to see you next time.